Alright, so this is on the organs in a sense of energy cultivation, how to work with them, how to heal them, what they are, what they do, etc, etc. Okay, so first we must learn the basic anatomy. Here I have a stock photo of a body, and as we see, down here we have the bladder. We also have the large intestines on the left side. Small intestines, kind of like the belly region. One second, let me be able to draw over this belly region there. And then around the kind of middle center of the body is more the stomach and the pancreas specifically. On the left side again is the spleen. The stomach's a bit more on the left side as well. The kidneys are kind of halfway in. This is the lateral region here, and this is like the lower belly, the lower back, and as they connect, if you feel your back, you'll feel the kidneys there. And then above all of that is the liver, again the rib. This is, if we draw this in here, this is the rib region, and you've got the liver, and then on the other side you've kind of got the stomach there, you can think. And then above that, I think the lungs sit on the diaphragm. I forget if the liver sits on the diaphragm. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it's the lungs. You've got the lungs here on each side, and they kind of feel like this is maybe the pectoral region here. They feel maybe around here. And you've got the heart more in the middle. People say it's to the left. It is a little more to the left, but it's more or less in the middle region here. And then you've got the thymus up there, and etc, etc. So there's some basic anatomy, very basic anatomy. For the head, really all you need to know is if this is a basic head, and we got the spinal cord coming up, we got this thing here, I forget the names. Is it the corpus callosum? Is it cerebrum? Is it cerebellum? I think it might, I don't remember. It's one of those things, but you got something there, and then the central kind of thing leads into a central channel here, and then you've got the main overbrain, which you can break into the front side, the kind of middle side here, and the back side. That's a basic anatomy. You can also see organs like the eyeballs. Obviously you've got the eyeballs, and if you feel into the ear, you will feel into the ear areas. You can kind of think the nose is one whole. The sinus area is its own thing. So that's just a little bit of simple anatomy for you. Now an organ, if we draw an organ here, let's just say our bladder. Our bladder is a physical object. So it's a physical. It has, it's made out of like protein or something. It's made out of biological matter, we'll say. So it's a physical object. It's also, it's able to move, and it's alive. So it's also a energetic object, which basically means that it's moist. It can hold pressure, air pressure. It can hold heat. It's alive. It's also an energetic entity. Now the third one, the more occult one, is that it's also a mental entity. Anything that can receive and send electrical signals, or just receive, or just even send, is electrical in nature, is also electromagnetic in nature. Meaning it can exist within the mind, or the mind can access it. Of course, there are rules to that, but it's basically how it works, you can think. So it's got these three things: physical, energetic, and mental. which are the 3 ways that you work with the organs. These are the 3 ways you work with the body in general, or just about anything, to be honest, but we're going to focus on the organs. Now, that means that it is a physical object with an aura, with an energetic aura, which you can manipulate with focusing on it. That's how you manipulate auras. You focus on the aura, you focus on the organ, and then you can pressurize it or relax it, or just through using kind of willpower and such. Technically use your mind. So these are connected. They're not the same, but they're connected. It's through the aura that the mental stuff happens. Similarly, because it's physical, you can tense it. If you tense the lower, the bladder sits very much, if this is like the pubic region, it's kind of, if it's like that, the navel's around there, yeah, it's very much in the genital region, is like there for men and women. It's pretty low, it's just basically above the genital region and below the intestines. If this is the belly region, yeah, it's pretty low. So that's where it is. If you push the lower abdominals in or out, you're moving it. Okay. So first thing, how do you diagnose if you have some kind of organ problem on you or another person, because you might be working with another person? You first think mentally, what do you think you have a problem? Where do you think you have a problem? You can, think based on whatever, assumptions, logic, intuition, doesn't matter. Just where do you think you have a problem? Next is, where do you feel you have a problem? Energetic is feeling. Physical is also feeling, but energetic is also feeling. And technically you can say mental is related to feeling, because it's mental feeling as well, but it's more mental, is more sight, as we'll get into. Energetic, where do you feel you have a problem? Maybe you feel you have your guts are always in pain. After you eat, they seem to lock up, or you seem to get blockages or something, or they burn maybe. Anyone who, I remember I would eat cinnamon and my whole guts would just be burning, and the esophagus and all of the stuff, the stomach would be, so I had to stop eating cinnamon, at least in certain cases. So what do you feel you have a problem? Next is, some people who are very physical, very dense, are not able to feel, they're not able to feel the problem in their body. They've numbed it out. They're on too many painkillers. It's difficult if you're on any kind of drug to feel this, but you've got to do what you got to do. Physical is pushing in. Now, each organ has its own way to push in, each organ and gland. Firstly, we start at the bottom. For men, the gonads, you just grab either testy, I think that's how you say it, or both of them, and you just squish a little bit, not too much. You just squish, and you should be able to handle a little bit of squishing. If you can't handle much at all, if it's very sore, you assume that your nuts are, there's something going on. Now, of course, don't worry, don't stress or anything. If it's not like you squish and you're dying and you're just on the floor frothing from the mouth, it's probably not a huge problem, so you don't have to worry too much. Now, for women, we draw here's the belly region, here's kind of pubic region, the legs here. I think it's kind of around here, so the legs around hips, around there. I think it's like around here that you push in to feel your ovaries. So kind of lower belly, lower, like upper pubic region, lower belly, just feel around there on the side and you push in. You have both your hands and you kind of use the fingers, the tips of the fingers, the flat tip, and just push in a little bit. Now also how you feel the next one, you feel the bladder, is same thing. Around that area in the middle, you push in and you feel that. And if it hurts horribly, you get sharp pains. And usually you may feel the connecting cables between things. So if you have just a bladder problem, you may feel the connecting cables to the kidneys. It may feel a little bit painful. Next one is the belly, this whole region here. You just push in at different sides. So you push in around the middle, around the belly button. You push in around the side. And the sides here are more the large intestines, while the more middle, and then around this region is more, the middle region is more the guts, the small intestines. The sides, so the oblique kind of region here, if we hope you can still see the oblique kind of region here, is more the intestines. And the lower, we have a belly here. So this is intestine, legs, like that, and then this is all the chest up here. Okay, navel. So this is more small intestines, large intestines. See these corners here and these sides. The lower, and this is bladder. So B I L I. So the lower sides, if you get me on that. For example, if you have a problem on the left side, that's a descending large intestine, while on the right side is the ascending. Okay. Now upper belly, if you push in to the ribs a little bit with the fingers, well, you push into the upper region, kind of into the ribs, not too much. You push in there with the fingers, the palm is, of course, I believe, the pancreas. If you push into the right side, so this is the right side of your body, this is the left. I know it's opposite, you're just gonna have to work with me. Oh wait, that's yeah, okay, whatever. So it's kind of like if you flipped yourself and you put yourself on the computer screen, and here is the liver. See my pen out a little, and here is the stomach. I don't know if I know how to spell stomach. Whatever. Stomach. Does that mean stomach? I think. Okay, so the left side, if you push into the left side, you'll feel the stomach, and you can actually push into the rib region as well. You have to develop a special kind of pressure, which is where you push on the ribs slightly. You don't want to cave them in or anything. You push on it with your hand, your palm, and you push into the stomach. And I'm doing this now. It's pushing like gas out, and I'm getting that thing in your stomach vibrates. Okay, release it, and then you push on the other side of the liver. The other side of the ribs, the right side of the lower ribs, and that's kind of where the liver and the gallbladder is. Okay. Alright, and you can do the same with the upper, kind of the pectoral region for the lungs. Here, pectoral region, lungs, and the kind of middle. You have to be careful because it's on the sternum for the heart. Now you can also, instead of pushing in, you can tap. You tap, depending on how strong the person is, depends on how strong you have to tap. And of course the head is the same way. You push lightly on the back, the lower back part of the head, and then if you want to test the back of the head, you push lightly on the back of the head, or you tap. Same way, the internal is a little bit hard. You're kind of just going to have to assume for that. Or you can push on the front end and the back end and try to, you know, direct your pressure inwards. That's some like next level martial arts shit if you're, you know, confident. But basically, if you need to physically diagnose a person, oh, I forgot about the kidneys. The kidneys you actually push on the sides of the body or the side back, around the midsection. So as I said, where the lateral meets the lower back, you've got this, you know, region, and you've got these region here. So that's pretty much how to touch all of the different organs. Now, physically, you can massage those areas. You can massage them. You know, you can go around, you can go up and down with the palms, with the fingers, with the sides of the hands, and that will work on the physical level. Now, on the energetic level, this is where you focus with your energy. You know, you mentally focus, and you feel it out. I don't know if you'd call it mentally. Well, maybe, I don't know. You focus on the different organs. So, assumingly you have some liver problem, you focus. You diagnose that because your liver's always hurting. If you you drink a lot of alcohol and eat a lot of like really dry foods, you can have problems there, just FYI. So assuming you have one there, you then focus in on it. Okay, so it's liver. Let's draw it a little bit nicely. Looks wrong. Whoops. Okay, whatever. Good enough. You focus in on it and the whole thing, and you're going to be feeling the cloud of energy. So let me just do that to kind of explain the meditation for you. Okay, so I'm focusing on my liver. Now my liver is pretty much fine, to be honest. It's one of my better organs, actually. So the liver, yep, just okay. Now if it was in pain, it would feel in pain. So you want to feel that liver and you want to relax it. And you want to feel kind of like you're, now sometimes you need to draw energy in, which is called tonification. Sometimes you might need to feel you need to pull energy out. If it feels like it's going to explode, like there's so much pressure in there, you may want to pull it out. You want to expand. Feel on the liver and feel expanding it out with your feet, your sense of touch. Now mine could probably do with more energy, so I'm going to pull in, give it more pressure. If it feels kind of cold and floppy and weak, you need to pull in more. I'm thinking of something bad. No, it's not bad, but you know, probably know what I mean. Yes, if that is floppy and weak, you want to pull in more energy as well. Okay, you just keep doing that. You just keep doing that. And okay, if you don't really know whether to give it energy or to take it away, just focus it there. Just have a good, firm sense of focus in whatever organ you're working. So you have a firm sense of focus in the organ and you hold it there. And you just keep that meditation going for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you know, as long as you can do it. And then you give that organ a rest from being tonified or being worked on. You don't want to work on an organ like 24/7 unless you're energy cultivation pro. Otherwise you will, you know, start to have problems because you can over tonify organs and you can like burn them out if you focus too hard, because your focus becomes like a laser. So that's how you energetically work on an area. Now mental is a little more abstract. There's a couple things, which first is thoughts and imagination. And this is pretty much the same thing, but what I'm trying to get at is that thoughts in this case are passive, and imagination is active. Maybe I shouldn't have called them that. Whatever, I'll explain what I mean. Excuse me. Alright, so this is probably going to sound weird, but organs carry like trauma and they project thoughts. So you can be having a dream and it's basically coming from the organ. Okay? Meaning that depending on the organ depends on the kind of thoughts and feelings and problems. And also goes to physical life problems. If you have physical life problems, you just say you have like intestine problems, you can't digest life, essentially. You can't like conquer life, you know. You have ego, you could have ego problems. If you have large intestine problems, you have trouble with getting rid of the old stuff, or you build up a lot of, you know, junk. You hoard a lot of junk. It works like that. If to explain the rest of them, I don't really know all of them, so I'll just tell you what I know. Kidneys is a lot related to kidneys and bladders, kind of related to regeneration, sex, sexuality, money, kind of self-worth and self-confidence as well. Stomach is I think stomach's kind of related to more earthly qualities, actually. So if you're a bad farmer, if you worry a lot, I know that the bad organ of the bad emotion of stomach is worry. Liver is like anger. It can be growth as well. Lungs can be depression if you're really depressed. Lungs and heart and even like the liver can be upper spiritual qualities. So someone who's, you know, a more spiritual person will have these developed. Blood can be like the flow of life. I mean, the heart can be the flow of life. It can be your love, your passion. I have a very strong heart. I think so. You know, your inner kind of like your spirit, you know, your spirituality, spiritual qualities, all that kind of stuff. And if you're excessively joyful, like excessively stimulated, that can be related to the heart. Similarly, the lower organs could be like bladder could be related to depression and all that. They say the lungs is also depression. So that's if the lungs are depressed, then you're depressed. You can say that. I recommend looking up a some kind of, you know, organ relating to emotions chart to answer. You'll find some new age website where you'll get it. Or organs relating to traumas. Yeah, that'll do it. Anyway, so yeah, mentally you will maybe experience thoughts, like traumatic thought, right? And you'll experience bad past thoughts and all this stuff. It'll just cyclically we have them each day. Like, I find when I wake up in the morning, if I wake up with like a lot of, I usually when I first get up, like I get hit with whatever, you know, thought from whatever organ is not so good. And this morning because I tonified my organs, it was like the thought was trying to get there, but it couldn't really. Like it was like, oh, this guy, he yeah, damn, okay, we can't, today's not our day, boys. Let's go back. And yeah, that's where the idea of like demons, and this kind of gets deep, where each organ, if you look at elemental systems for the organs, which are the Western one is like the liver is related to the Jupiter, which is related to I forget if it's fire or water. The heart is related to fire. In Chinese, the stomach is related to earth, which is the ground. The bladder is water. All that kind of stuff. Intestines is fire as well. So if you look elementally, you can think like the different, the ground is a archetype, the ground. The front face of a room is an archetype, it's a god. The side, the other side, these are the sides. And the back, and then the roof of a room. These are all the four quadrants. The 6 quadrants. The front, the four. It's wrong thing. Yeah. So the 4 sides, or the 4 angles of summer, winter, spring and autumn. These are all like archetypal gods, so to speak. And the upper, or the roof, and the ground is the roof is heaven, it's the sky, and the ground is negative. It's the earth, or that ground. Yeah, that's right. So these are like god entities, so to speak. These are archetypal entities, and through the body they exist in the organs and the spiritual areas and some other things. And you can think like your organs are certain gods, and the gods are angry at you or they're happy at you if you have good or bad organs. Your stomach is angry at you, so your crops don't grow. You don't digest food and assimilate nutrients, so your body doesn't grow. If you have a weak stomach, you just don't have a strong body. People who are super like tradesmen and just people who are really like thickly built, they have strong stomachs, and they probably eat a lot, or they eat good food, and they really assimilate it well. So that's another mental thing. So you can mentally like conquer the demons within your mind, and it will conquer like the bad thoughts. You're conquering that, and it will help with the organs. Of course, I recommend you also physically and energetically tonify them, but it's just so that your weird and bad thoughts will get better, or worse, depending on how your organs are going. So of course, that's why you want to keep good health. Eat correctly. Make sure you get enough of everything. Sleep right. Don't take drugs. Exercise moderately. Don't overwork, but don't over rest. All this kind of stuff, like the basic stuff. Get enough water, etc. And depending more on your elemental constitution of which dominant organ is, which organ is dominant for you. For me, I'm more dominated by the heart and the bladder. The water and the fire organs, and a little bit the wood organs, the liver. That's personally more my dominant element. You may be more dominated by the lungs and the large intestines. Those are people who are more muscular. Maybe you're more dominated by what else we got? I don't know. The liver. Those people are kind of thin. If you look at body types, liver or wood people or air people are more thin and intellectual and tall. Fire people are kind of well-rounded. They're kind of not too fat, not too thin, not too muscular, not too skinny. Usually a bit smallish as well. They can be smaller. Water people are more chubby. They can also be kind of muscular as well if it's a man, but they're more rounded. Earth people are built. They're pretty balanced in fat and muscle, but they're just big, big boned. Pelvis is big and all that. And what else we got? I think that's the 5 elements. Okay. Don't think I missed any. So physically, you can also use herbs to There's lots of different therapies. If you look at traditional Chinese medicine, you'll see, cupping. You cup over a specific area. Needling. You needle the meridian. For acupuncture or acupressure, you acupressure the acupoint for the meridian or the location. There's massage, as I said. There's herbal medicine, getting specific herbs for whatever you're dealing with. Slapping. There's, you can slap it. You can just hold your hands over that area. That can kind of help. So yeah, similarly, like energetic, there's lots of different meditations. As I said, there's filling, which is positive. There's releasing, which is negative. There's just focusing on, which is neutral. There's lots of different things you can do. And then mentally, there's dealing with traumas. You can imagine light, the corresponding color of light. Heart being red, bladder being like blue. Just look up the colors if you're interested. Liver green, your lungs kind of silvery, grayish. Yeah, just make sure that if you're doing something that doesn't feel right, or to stop, I guess, or to maybe write it out and see if it really is bad, or if it's just you're kind of overcoming something. Who knows? So anyway, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, I hope you get the idea of like physical, all these therapies, massage, all these herbs, all that. Energetics, kind of focusing there. Physical, you can also move your body with Tai Chi, and you can combine that with energetic stuff. And then mental is just imagination, playing with your mind. This is very Jungian. Personally, that's why I don't really like going too much into the Jungian stuff. I like listening about it and relating it to my own life and all that. But I'm not the kind of person to go on like a dream vision quest and like if anyone's done Kabbalah pathworking dream stuff, it's kind of cool, it's kind of fun, but I don't know, man, it just isn't really it. You can actually overcome the mental stuff through funny enough, video games. Especially like RPGs, when they got all the choices and such. You make different choices and you're actually developing yourself very subtly. So if you're always picking the evil option, be careful. Maybe you might become more evil, who knows. Maybe you want to become more evil. You're like a very passive person. You need to develop your more active side. That you go burn a city in a video game to get that feeling and to just to do that. I don't know, man. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative and helpful, and all that good stuff. And if you want to, of course, check the links down below. I've got social stuff there if you need to email me. I've got commercial if you want to buy any books, albums, or services. I've got Gumroad, mainly Fiverr, etc. And also if you want to just donate and support, I have down below now a BTC or Bitcoin wallet. And I got a Subscribe Star. I'm not going to put stuff on the Subscribe Star, as in I'm not going to make like a subscription service or anything to get stuff. Everything I sell will be sold as is. But if you want to donate monthly, there is a Subscribe Star there. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you have a nice day, and goodbye.